Hey, what's going on, guys? It is TemperAlliance, and today in this video I'm going to be sharing you another story, and I hope it's going to be a great story for you guys. So it actually has been a while since I last told you a story. I think it's been like around a month. It actually felt that long. Most of the time I've been doing, information slash opinion vids for like the past few weeks, I say. And some of them are like live commentaries playing with friends, and I never told you a story in a long time. But I normally tell you stories that pretty much happened like a week ago. But this story happened last year, and it was pretty much a very bad story for me because it kind of didn't really go well for me at the end because I got a little bit mad at a certain teacher back then. But now it's all good. But anyway, let me tell you the story. So it happened in a business class, and my business teacher is nice, he's like great. Like, he actually was friends with my dad, which is kind of really weird because having a teacher that was friends with your dad like years ago, it is a little bit weird and a little bit awkward. But and then which means that he would really know me because I'm his child. Oh no, sorry, not my teacher, because I'm my dad's child, obviously. And then obviously he would know me because from that reason. And I just thought it was a little bit weird. But last year I remember making my teacher go so mad over things. Like, one time there was a student that gave me a piece of paper, and my teacher thought that I was doing something else, which he made me stand up, go at the very top of the class, and just maybe stood there for like 5 to 10 minutes until he get to teach the class, because in his opinion I was in his way of trying to teach the class. He thought I was just being chatting to everyone all the time and distracting them, so the only way to get me to stop doing that was to get me to stand up and go up the very top of the class and just make me shut up and just stand there and just make it feel so awkward. But anyway, let's get into the story. So it happened in a business class, and we were doing some learning, obviously, because that's what you do. And then, like, after around 2 or 5 minutes, he starts correcting the homework, which I never did, because a week before that he gave us homework, and until then he was correcting the homework and I never did it. And I was trying to not say anything, because normally if you didn't do homework, you have to put your hand up and go, sorry, I didn't do the homework, or miss, I didn't do the homework, or get up, or just get up and go up to the teacher and just say that you never did it, and you'll make up for him for doing it tonight or something like that. But I never did it because normally when he corrects the homework, he never asks me, or I just finds like a great excuse to get out of it, or I just finds a way to get out of it. But this time it didn't really go well as I hoped. So he was correcting the homework, and at the very start he goes, stand up if you didn't do it. And some people stood up, and since I never did homework, I thought I'll get away with it, so I stayed sitting down, which was a very risky thing to do. So I just stayed sitting down, and the teacher goes to the pupils who didn't do the homework, saying, you're going to get extra work tonight for not doing the homework. So you're going to get the homework that you were supposed to do last week, and some extra questions. So he gave them that, and obviously he never said it to me, because I stayed sitting down, which was again very risky. So he was going one by one to class, and I realized that because he was naming out some questions that we had for homework, and he was going one by one to each pupil, and I'm like, oh, for feck's sake, I'm pretty much fecked. So I tried quickly get out of my copybook, get out a pen, look at the question, and then try and do it as quickly as I can by the time he gets to me. But sadly though, he skipped a few pupils and he went straight to me, which was very awkward because I never did the homework, I never did a question, so I never stood up to tell him or anything like that. So he was asking me a question. Alright, since he goes to me, alright, so Jason, what's the answer for this question? And I was thinking about a great excuse to try and get out of it. And I was like, oh sir, I didn't really 100% get the question, so I didn't do it. And then he looked at me for like a half an hour basically he was like staring at me and was like, okay, did you get the rest of the questions? Because since he knows me that well, I never do homework. But he was very edgy with me because, you know, he had this idea that I didn't do the homework at all, which that also gave him the idea that I just came up with this excuse like 2 seconds ago, just to try and get out of homework. So he goes, did you get any questions that you get? And I goes, yeah, I got question 3 or something like that. And he goes, okay, I'm not up to that question yet, but when I come to that question, I'll ask you. So he skipped me and went on to another pupil. So I then, once again, got out my pen, looked at the question, and do it as quickly as possible. But when I realized, like, around half a minute, it was like this work was going to take more than like 10 minutes to do, because it was pretty much a very long question. So I was trying to write as quickly as I possibly can, and but sadly though, my teacher was going through the questions so fast. It was like question 2, part A, part B, part C, and he was asking each pupil, and they were naming out their answers, but you know, also they were, you know, doing it very quickly, and sir was going to each pupil very quickly with the questions. And then when it came to question 3, he was about to ask another pupil, and around a minute later he realized that he had to ask me, and I never fully finished the question. I only wrote down like 2 sentences, and when he was like going to people, like, and then he goes, oh wait a minute, I have to ask Jason because he said he did the question. So he goes to me, alright, what's the answer for this question? So I realized I didn't have anything written down, so I didn't have anything written down, and I needed to come up with an answer quick. So what I did was I flipped back a few pages. Now this was before he actually asked me, of course, or else he would see that I didn't do the question, of course. So before he asked me, I flipped back a few pages to find the answer. And I was about to write it down, but I didn't have time because he was asking me. So by the time he came to me, he goes, alright Jason, what's the answer for this question? And I didn't have it fully written down, so what I did, I put the copy next to the page that had the answer on it, and I was pretending like I was looking at my copy, like reading out the answer from my copy, when I was actually reading out the answer from the book, which was a very sneaky thing to do, but sometimes it works, but for me it didn't work, which made it even more awkward and slash kind of annoying, which you'll soon get coming up now. So I was reading it from the book, and I had to move my eyes from like left to right, because you know like the copy from the page was pretty much far apart, so you know I had to like move my eyes as far as I can just to read it. And he saw me doing it, sadly, and he was looking at me again, and then he asked me the question, did you do the question? And I goes, yeah, I have it all written down here, you know, try and get away with it, because apparently it was right when I was trying to do it really quick, and you know, I was right, and then he asked me, did you do the question? I goes, yeah, it's all written down here, sir, I did the question. And then he looked at me again for like another half an hour, and then he goes, show it to me. And I only had like 2 sentences written down, and you know, I just had to tell him, saying, sorry sir, I actually didn't do the question, I didn't do any of my homework. And then he looked at me for another half an hour, and he goes, okay Jason, for your punishment tonight or something like that, you're going to do questions 1 to 10, which was the whole questions in the book about that chapter. It was an entire whole thing. And I was so pissed, because it was like, oh, for fuck's sake, I have to do all that, which would take the whole day. And I was just like, you know, like, why are you giving me all these questions for, sir? And then he goes, for lying to me. And yeah, so, and then that night I goes, you know what, I pretty much pissed him off tonight, so I might as well do it, and he'll probably check it the next time. And then when I actually did it, and when I actually wanted to show him, he never asked me the next time we had class with him. He never asked me, he kept on teaching. So like, I goes to myself, you know what, I don't want this to go to waste. I want him to actually check it, because I didn't do all this for nothing. I go up to him with it, and he goes, I'm grand, I don't want to look at it. Hello? I didn't do freaking 10 questions for nothing. And I go, sir, don't you want to check it? And he goes, no. You know, if you want me to see it, then you obviously did it. I'm like, I was just speechless. I was like going back, and I was like, why did I do it? I shouldn't have done it, because he would never ask me. So yeah, that's kind of like a backfire. But anyway, this is a lesson for all of you guys who are in school. Always do your homework, or else you will get caught, and you'll probably have to do what I did. After that, I still don't do homework that much, but I pretty much get away with it. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you guys in my next video.